goes out in Tulane and is able to break the green wave curse. That's all we care about. That's all you should care about. Is Florida Atlantic is victorious over Tulane 79-74. And we welcome you to the Florida Atlantic Voice PostUp here on, well, wherever you get your podcasts eventually, but we are on live on Twitter and on YouTube, and FAU has won 5 in a row, and it's all good, and Damon Arnette is with me, FAU basketball legend. If you don't know now, you know, first 1,500-point scorer in FAU basketball history, still holds the record for the highest single-season scoring average in the history of FAU basketball, and it happened all the way in the year 1999. That thing is,
all the way.
all the way. It is, I mean, it's
all
just
the way,
a
huh?
reality. Yeah, it's held up now for 17 years at this point. So go ahead on the live chat, Twitter, YouTube. We'll take your questions. We'll take your observations. We will we'll correspond and hang out with you on this Wednesday night. It's certainly much better to start this at 10 p.m. Eastern Time live than it was like 11:30 after that Wichita State game at 9 o'clock tip. Makes a big difference with how spry and energetic I feel. First things first here, Damon. Was this one pretty? No. Was it frustrating the way in which Tulane was able to grind its way slowly but surely back into this game? Absolutely. But I want to make a point right off the bat. These are going to be ugly. FAU now, we're far enough into the league slate, 7 games in, that FAU now has a target on its back. They're going to get everybody's best shot. There is going to be desperation that's going to take place, and Tulane played with desperation down the stretch, had a decent whistle on their end as well, and the name of the game is not to blow out every opponent. The name of the game is not to be perfect every time, because the human nature dictates you're not going to be perfect every single time. We're not going to get Wichita States all the time. We're not going to get UTSAs all the time. FAU had lost 3 straight to Tulane. They're just a tough matchup because they're really stubborn and they're really well coached, because it's Ron Hunter, 32 years doing this. He knows a thing or two. You got the win. You are in first place. All is well.
Yeah, all is well as far as tonight is concerned, because you got the win. But all is not well in terms of how do you think Coach Jacobs feels about his team?
Oh, I'm sure he's not
right now.
He's not the happiest.
So, I mean, but no, you're right. As we mentioned in our post-game show that we just finished up, it's better to learn while you're winning.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what's happening right now. And tonight was another opportunity to get better as a team. It was another opportunity to keep the momentum going of this win streak that we've had. And they did good. At the end of the day, from a fan perspective, and I always like to look at things twofold, as a player in the team, locker room standpoint, and also from this fans. And the fans just know we won a close game, and we looked good based on the naked eye doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's always a positive when you can win your home games.
Dark in the chat on YouTube. It seemed like we had to overcome Tulane and the refs. Other than that, no comments. Team is special. Owls up. Let's take that piece by piece here. And thank you, Duck, for the jump into the chat here. FAU 5 straight wins. This matches the longest winning streak under John Jacobs. You remember last season, Florida Atlantic's 5th and final win of their 5-game winning streak came against Temple in Philadelphia, but then Florida Atlantic came home, lost to Wichita State. That would be the first of 3 losses consecutively there. So FAU is going to try and one-up themselves, or several up themselves, but you're at USF, you're at Memphis back-to-back. This is going to be tricky for FAU, and we've talked about plenty on this podcast about how nasty this stretch of the schedule is, and Florida Atlantic was able to beat Wichita State. Florida Atlantic was able to beat Temple. FAU able to beat Tulane. So you have of the initial stretch that we discussed, it was a 5-game boulder-ridden trek up to Basketball Mount Everest. You have 2 more games left there, and these are the 2 toughest ones, because you're going to go against a massive loud crowd at USF. You're going to go against a massive loud crowd at Memphis, and so we're going to find out an awful lot about what FAU is made of here over the next 2. But tonight, you had to grind this out. Back-to-back games, you had to grind it out. As far as the refs are concerned, It was frustrating, but here's the most frustrating thing. Rowan Brumbaugh is a really good player, okay? He's the preseason player of the year in the American for a reason. But I have never seen a player get away with the offhand clear out, forearm shiver, 1v1 against the defender, extend the arm, obvious offensive foul like Rowan Brumbaugh performs every single damn time he gets the ball. I cannot believe the whistle he gets, and I don't understand how that is never, ever called because it's an offensive foul every time.
But Ken, I don't see how he's the player of the year. I know we saw him last year. I know he's a good player, okay, but player of the year, I mean, I didn't see it from last year. I think he's by default because he may have been the best player that was coming back to the conference, okay. So I'll give him his flowers on that, but you're 100% right. He plays the whistle. His game is predicated on anticipating, and his movements and his actions and his decision to drive and how he drives the basketball is based on. So I'm more concerned, or my bigger question is not so much him, is why are these referees treating him as if he's Michael Jordan in that 7-year championship run and just getting the whistle.
All things considered, FAU did a good job on Brumbaugh. He was 4 of 15 from the field. He was 6 of 9 from the free throw line. He had the most free throws of any player in this game, and that's pretty typical of Rowan Brumbaugh. And when Tulane is playing well, is he'll go to the free throw line an awful lot.
No, you're exactly right, Ken, and I can tell by the way he's playing, he's not trying to score the basketball. He's trying to get a foul. Yeah. Okay, and that is something there's no confidence in it whatsoever. He plays as if he's 0 for 10 from the floor, and he's just trying to get a bucket or see the ball go through from the free throw line, which I can respect and understand a lot more. But he's a good player. You're right. We did do a good job containing him. It was his counterpart that kind of made it a long night for us.
We'll get to Curtis Williams in a second. I mean, FAU, all things considered, that 15 points pretty empty for Rowan Brumbaugh because he gets 4 of 15 from the field, not nearly as efficient as he usually is. But I want to talk about Xander Pintelon.
Xander.
And over the first 20 games of the season, and tonight was game number 20. We have grown accustomed to seeing Xander Pintelon at 6'11", the Belgian, plant behind the three-point line, be a great catch and shoot three-point shooter. Over the last month or so, he has started to show signs of being more versatile within the offense. He has started to show more signs of moving the basketball. He's trying to drive to the rim. He's at least making defenses think about it, and his defense has improved as well. He's become a nice complement on the interior at times to Devin Williams, and we know about his shot blocking ability. But Xander Pintelon tonight, only 5 points, only 1 3, but he added 6 assists. If Xander Pintelon is giving you 3 or more assists each game, and I don't know if that's going to be the case every game, but if he can at least occasionally do that, FAU is going to be extremely tough to beat because as much attention as Pintelon gets as an outside shooter, if he starts finding open guys on the cut or he starts swinging it to the open man at the three-point line, I don't know how you defend FAU's offense consistently.
Well, he should get more than just the 6 assists because what makes these lanes so wide open for penetrations and cuts off the basketball is the fact you can't leave him. Mm-hmm. So you've got to be a step and a half, 1 arm's length away from him, even in a zone. So because he's able to his defender in a zone or whoever is in that area that has to account for him, he's got to keep them home.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you can't be in 2 places at once. And that contributes to the Elohim drives and the backdoor cuts and the baseline action we was able to get early on in the game.
So it was really promising to see that from Xander Pintelon, and it was nice to see Devin Vanterpool finally break out. 20 points for Vanterpool. He deserves a better whistle than he gets too. And I think sometimes with Dev, when he gets in deep, he starts to fall away. Maybe that's why the whistle doesn't come instead of leaning in. And his game will continue to evolve like that. But Devin Vanterpool hit 3 threes tonight, and none bigger than Tulane getting within 6
in
the later stages of the second half, and he hits a left corner three. That pushed the lead back up to 9. FAU eventually won from the free throw line, and that was too common a refrain tonight. Get the lead back to double digits after things felt like they were teetering. Yes, Tulane would climb back into this game, but getting it back to double digits after seeing that lead trimmed to 5-6 points, that seemed like that was the last kick that kept Tulane from ultimately really putting FAU in a tough spot. But Vanderpool hit a couple of threes, a beautiful offensive rebound that Pintalon had, saving it from going out of bounds, threw it right into the chest of Vanderpool, who stepped into a right wing three in the first half. But Dev got his groove back a little bit tonight.
Yeah, he did a little bit. He looked a little bit more in sync with his own game today. And I'll tell you another reason why that is because we were playing against the zone.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when you play against zone, you can't scout for one player, if that makes any sense, because your zone principles are priority as opposed to trying to trap a player or cut a player off, send him to his hand, send him to he can. So the zone helped Devin kind of get back in step a little bit with this game. But overall, this was probably his best game from a scoring standpoint. His best game in the last 5 or 6.
FAU was plus 15 on the boards against Tulane back on January 4th in that loss. It was dominant. Florida Atlantic getting the job done in the paint. They were a plus 10 in that game in the paint. Tonight, Tulane did a better job of rebounding. They finished -1. Both teams 6 offensive rebounds. And FAU saw Tulane grab basketballs, attack the glass a little bit better, as we said. Also in the paint, FAU at one point had a 22-8 advantage in the paint, and Tulane gets to within 4 in the paint, 34-30. It's pretty easy to see on the stat sheet, those team stats, why Tulane made it a game in the second half.
Well, I tell you one reason why I think the rebounding margin was probably not indicative of what is the stat sheet shows. We missed so many free throws.
Yeah.
Okay, and so those were easy rebounds for Tulane getting them off missed free throws. So that adds to that rebounding stat. But you're right. Overall, they did rebound a lot better. We made more shots. We shot a higher percentage this game from the field. I think we was at 50% today from the field.
51.9%. Tulane finished at 44.2%.
Yeah, so half our shots went in.
Yeah.
Okay, and so and we didn't do a lot of offensive rebounding today, but the game had a much better flow than obviously than the one up there in Temple, and so the reality is that every game is a building block, it's a stepping stone, and we just got another piece to our season puzzle tonight.
It drove me crazy in the second half. Devin Williams goes up for a dunk.
Oh, yeah. He got hit in the face.
He gets hit in the forearm, gets clubbed in the face. He goes for the jam. He loses the ball because, well, he was hit mouth, bridge of nose, forehead, and the ball pops up into the air. He's hanging onto the rim for dear life because, again, he got clocked in the head. The ball
came down on the defender that hit him.
Right, and then the ball goes through the rim, and Devin Williams is still hanging onto the rim, so they call an offensive foul. I don't want to complain about officiating all the time. And the KB Burdette crew at Temple was as bad as you'll see
Your favorite
in
crew.
all of basketball. KB Burdette.
Did y'all go to dinner?
Maybe if I brought him to dinner and paid for it, maybe
yeah,
he
maybe.
would.
Just don't give us no calls. Just eliminate yourself from affecting the game.
Lord, man. But this just, between the Brumbaugh push-off every time he has the floor, in multiple clubbings at the rim that FAU suffered, I know that it got nervy and I know it got shaky, but for FAU to be able to withstand that because the whistle's not always going to be there and things aren't going to go your way and you're going to have to fight yourself for a horde of opponents, and that's what FAU did tonight. And listen, like this is the path of a conference season. It is winding, it is long, it is treacherous. FAU might not have another blowout win the rest of the year, but you find ways to win this, especially against a team that has had your number, and you take it, and you move on, and you say, I like 6-1. That's good.
And at the end of the day, that's what we are.
Yeah.
I know we can nitpick, we can analyze, and we can dissect all the areas that need to
And it's
be
easy
improved.
to nitpick when you're 14-6 and 6-1 in the league.
Yes, I know we can do all those things, but at the end of the day, you just said it right. We're 6-1, and going into an opportunity to kind of create some more distance. And you got to understand this too, Ken. Even though the teams that may have one loss that are right behind us, or two losses that are right behind us, when they play a team and beat them, they're creating separation for us.
Yeah.
Okay. And so at the end of the day, I think the entire league might be playing tonight, or most of them.
Most of them.
We're going to gain some games on some people, and also possibly keep the distance from whoever's on our heels. But every night now, because we're sitting at the top of the division, even if we was in second place, they're going to try to give us their best shot.
I'm just looking at this now. So, by the way, this will apply for those of you who listen after the fact, but live, FAU now is the only one-loss team in the American because Memphis apparently fell apart in the final 5 minutes of their game at Tulsa. Memphis had the lead at last check. I believe it was 5:24 left to go, and in the network,
because we just checked it
post game, we looked at it, and Tulsa wins 83-66. I'm going to look at this right now. Did Memphis really only score like 1 point in the final 5 minutes of this game? Let me look at this here. Let's get to like 5. Let's see. It was 62-61. No, it was 62-59. Actually, I'm trying to get to what the largest lead was for. Here, let's just go from 6.5 minutes left. It was 62-61 Memphis with 6:31 left to go. Tulsa went on a 22-4 run to end the game. Just a total meltdown for Memphis and an 83-66 loss. 22-4 run for Tulsa. It is clear that this is a Memphis team that is wildly flawed. But FAU now is the only one-loss team remaining in the American Conference. And so now the target's really on the back. Now through 7 games, we're all chasing FAU now.
Well, yeah, but make no mistake, going up to Memphis in a week, that is going to be
that might be their last stand. Like that might be
that's still going to be.
full-fledged.
Even if Memphis would have won this game, that's going to be.
But what I'm saying, it's going to be desperation.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I tell you this too, kid. I know you're saying this stretch of games that we have right now, or in the middle of, or on the backside of it. I kind of see it differently. I see this as a continuation of our schedule. Okay,
sure.
If you just look at our schedule.
This was the third most challenging non-conference of anybody in the league.
That's what I'm saying. This is just a continuation of St. Mary's, St. Bonaventure's, UCF, George Mason. I mean, this is just a continuation of our schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is a stretch, we've been in this stretch since Boston College.
Yeah. The chat is open, by the way, for those of you watching this live. Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. Personal injury lawyers, they are there for you. They are the damn finest in South Florida. And don't forget to download the Robes Law Group app. And it's perfect because if you get in an accident, you can just document all the information there. You can store it in the app. That's going to help you as you deal with lawyers and deal with insurance companies. And that way, after all the adrenaline wears off, you don't get forgetful after the fact trying to recall what took place right there. Document it all. That's only because Robes Law Group has you taken care of with the Robes Law Group app. Robes Law Group, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. Aaron in the chat. I'll say this: all Coach Jacobs can do about the officiating to the conference, like it's been said before, focus on the game because we're not always going to get the calls. Exactly. And John Jacobs is not going to sit there and whine and complain. Leave that to us. That's what we do. That's what we do. But yeah, what can you do if you're John Jacobs?
And that's Aaron.
Aaron. Yep.
Aaron, I 100% agree with you, Aaron. However, there are certain calls that are just so blatant that should not be missed.
Like
I don't
every
care
time
about
Rowan Brumbaugh gets the ball.
Exactly. Devin Williams getting hit in the face on a dunk.
Right.
Those calls are never really missed, especially the dunk call. Okay, they call setting an offensive screen foul.
Yeah.
But Brumbaugh can just extend his arm.
Yeah.
And push off and then Parker at the time goes 3 steps backwards.
Yeah.
So I do agree for an overall standpoint. You're 100% right, Aaron. But there are just certain calls that should not be missed, and especially the one with Williams, how critical
Yeah.
of a moment in the game that was.
Yeah.
That took 2 points off away. The push-off was coming down the stretch here. That would have flipped the game immediately. Okay, and so it's just the timing of things. I really don't care about anything that happened in the first half when it comes to officials.
Yeah.
But coming down the stretch here, there are just certain calls that is just so obvious to call. And I don't know if, on the Williams particular dunk, if the referee was just in a bad situation
Yeah.
or a bad position to see that. But the replay is just obvious that he got smacked in the face while the ball was still in his hand going up to dunk it.
What's frustrating is you and I talked about it at length. The whistle at Tulane on January 4th, it was good. Let him play. It was physical. The whistle against what was next? Wichita State? No. Next was UAB.
UAB.
That was a great whistle.
Yeah.
The whistle against Wichita State, great whistle. But, man, the last two at Temple and here tonight against Tulane, I mean, good Lord.
Well, also, too, Ken, we do a lot of fouling on the perimeter,
we do
too.
an awful lot of fouling. In fact, we are trending in the wrong direction nationally in terms of fouling. Now, that's just part of the identity that comes with the constant switching at the perimeter.
Yes.
That stuff's going to happen.
Yes.
But you just got to be able to overcome it. It was really nice to see Greg Glenn's family. If you don't know the story of Greg Glenn, former Tulane Green Wave star, he was really one of the faces of that team. He had good games against Florida Atlantic, really well liked. Did everything the right way. South Florida native, and this offseason, actually July 28th, he was with a friend swimming in the Keys at night and ended up drowning. He went under, and he never came back up, and absolutely tragic. And so this Tulane program has been trying to navigate that, talking with some of the people around their program, especially a guy I've known for a long time, their radio play-by-play voice, just sort of existing for a while and in a fog, and that extended into fall practice, and that extended into the start of the season as well. But Greg Glenn, South Florida native, Broward County, his family was in attendance tonight. They had a cutout of him that was sitting in the seat in the stands in the Tulane section. But it was moving to see them tonight and to see the Tulane basketball team, and as always, and as time goes on, these remembrances fade. For some, the memories fade. But despite the fact that this happened 6 months ago at this point, certainly still our thoughts go out to the Tulane basketball program. They wear that black GG. If you were walking at home tonight, or watching at home, or you were at the game tonight, that black patch, that circular black patch with the white GG in the center. But that's what that was for. That is a memorial to Greg Glenn, and to see his family here, and for them to be able to share this with guys who are his brothers, his family. I just thought it was special to have them here tonight.
No, it definitely is, and having gone through that and experiencing a teammate passing while you're in season. I know he died during the summer months, but that makes it even harder because everything is, as I said this when we was dealing with or experiencing the Temple when we was in Philadelphia, everything first, okay, and there's a motivation that you have to manufacture yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's hard to come together as a team in those situations for one reason only, because everybody has different emotions and are at different places in the grieving. So it's kind of hard to come together when everybody's at different points emotionally, trying to handle the same thing. And so I'm sure a lot of them are putting one pants leg on at a time, getting up, going to practice, and doing the best that they can. But that digging deep, that's going to be tough to a man on that team to do, even though that the tragedy happened about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Because this is still the first season without him.
And there's just constant reminders
all day, all week, all season long.
Even just walking in the locker room can be a reminder of a teammate that has passed. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything from this game. I do want to mention Elohim. He just continues to be such a steady hand, and even when he's not scoring, he had 18 tonight, so he scored tonight. But against Temple, he didn't score, but he played defense, and he's so fundamentally impactful for this basketball team. You always feel like you can depend on him to make a play when you need it. Is he going to lead the team in scoring? No. But he's just such a silky smooth, steady, physical presence. He's got to be on the floor. He ended up playing 31 minutes tonight, over 31 minutes, and that's sort of the norm for him because, well, he's out there and he's performing for you. He's fun to watch because he wants to get to the rim. He can hit the three, but he just does things the right way, and he handles himself like a professional.
Yeah, he does what he does, and he does it all the time. That's what you say. He does what he does, and he does it all the time. He's a steady player, I mentioned. He knows who he is, and he picks his spots well, and that's why he seems to be so impactful every game. And he'll have a flurry. I mean, he started off the game with a dunk or a layup, uncontested. He had 4 points in about, a minute. Mm-hmm. And so he's our attacker. His job and his goal is to get to the rim. And Devin, Devin attacks as well, but Devin is a Vanderpool. Yeah. He's going to come up just a little bit short and try to do a little floater, try to do a little jump shot, a little turnaround. But they both we have two attackers on the team, penetrators on the team that really are very efficient with their action.
We got lucky, by the way, that we're not traveling this weekend. That ice storm that's supposed to go through the southeast, or at least like the border of the Mason-Dixon line, that thing is so much ice. That freezing rain that'll bring down power lines. You're without power. It's cold as hell. That's what's going to happen, and it affects American Conference teams like North Texas, Dallas. It could get hit with that. Certainly Memphis, Charlotte, East Carolina. We're lucky because we go to Memphis next week. If this game was this weekend, we'd be in some trouble here.
I don't think we're out the woods, Ken, because depending on how severe the storm is, it's still going to be cold. So whatever hits the ground might still be there.
Yeah.
3-4 days after.
Or you never know about power grid stuff in Memphis. And so, for example, though, Tulane, they were supposed to play Charlotte on the road Saturday. They were supposed to go back to New Orleans tonight, charter, and then they would fly up to Charlotte on Friday. But because of the ice storm, they are going to go right to Charlotte because you never know how many flights are going to be canceled if you're going to be able to actually get there Friday.
I'm assuming they got a charter.
Yes.
Or getting a charter.
Yes. Now they're charter. They were going to commercial. So they weren't able to get a charter from New Orleans to Charlotte then because they just on short notice weren't able to really do that. But they were able to get a charter, stick with the same charter they had here to go from South Florida to Charlotte. And the game's been moved up to Friday night to give them the best chance to get out of Charlotte before the worst of the ice storm comes. So this is a trying time for a Tulane team that's lost 3 in a row, and now they're at the whim of Mother Nature.
They chartered here,
yeah.
Tulane?
They charter pretty much everywhere.
Oh, okay. Good for them. Well, I think it's like
not that we're keeping track.
Yeah, or I hope FAU's Brain Trust is listening.
Yeah.
Tulane charters everywhere. But I really think that their game, and like now, I don't even care about Tulane no more, to be honest. Wish them safe travels, obviously. But, I mean, we're done with them. Okay, and so I kind of want them to go out here and Charlotte. Charlotte is kind of a little bit better than we kind of expected.
They are. They're better than they were last year for sure.
Yeah, so no, it's definitely going to be a long season, and these travel over the next week or so is going to be kind of tricky, if you will. Do you think the American Conference pays for this flight?
No.
Because they had to adjust it. They're the ones that moved the game up.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I could write the American Conference office, see if the commish Tim Pernetti wants to give me an official statement. But no, I doubt that.
Maybe if the game is iced out up there, Memphis can come back down here and play again.
All right, I like that. A little round two here in Boca.
Best of 3.
That's right. So that'll wrap it for us here. Thanks to everybody who watched PostUp Tulane Edition live on Twitter and on YouTube, of course, presented by Robes Law Group. And thank you to everybody who's going to listen to this after the fact, wherever you get your podcast. And here is my plea to you. Actually, I'm asking for more a favor than a plea. I don't like to beg, but I'd like you to, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, Stitcher, just hit the subscribe button. That way you don't have to seek it out. You know when it's out because it's going to come right to your phone or tablet. It'll pop up there, say Florida Atlantic Voice, and you'll be set to go. And I would personally really, really appreciate it, and you'll forever have my gratitude if you do that. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna go on the bus to Tampa with the team? Are we gonna drive to Tampa, make it a day trip? Are we gonna drive to Tampa Saturday for the Sunday game? Or are we gonna take a flight to Tampa? What are we doing?
I'm thinking about getting on them bird.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about taking that 29-minute flight on over. Just because it's so much quicker once you get there, to be able to do what we need to do. But we're definitely leaving Saturday.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. I don't want to be waking up at 5 in the morning to Tampa.
Well, actually, we should have put that out when we started the show and let them decide. Let the listeners tell us what we should do.
Anybody want to buy our flights? Anybody have a charter or a private jet they want to fly us to?
There you go. Forever the marketer right
I guess
here.
we should have done that earlier in the podcast. So it'll be a 1 o'clock tip at USF, 12:30 on the Florida Atlantic Sports Network. A reminder to you, Fox Sports 640, foxsports640.com, the free Fox Sports 640 app. That's where you listen to us on the Florida Atlantic Sports Network. He's Damon Arnette. I'm Ken LaVicka. FAU wins 79-74. Thank you for watching and listening to the Florida Atlantic Voice PostUp Tulane edition. And we will talk to you next time. This has been the Florida Atlantic